The eccentric billionaire Elon Musk is one of the most innovative leaders and entrepreneurs of our time. But he doesn't really come to mind when you think of great public speakers. In fact, from time to time, he actually sounds incoherent and rambling. But he does one thing really, really well. And I believe that this is the number one reason why he's inspired so many people to take part in his vision and mission to change the world. And when you think of it, some of his visions are pretty crazy and far out. Yet he's been able to do amazing things. So the one thing he does really well is raw, honest emotion. Showing emotion is one of the most underrated elements of being a great public speaker. But in my opinion, it is the number one most important element to be able to connect with the audience and move them to action and move them to think in a different way. Now, a lot of people think that showing emotion is a sign of weakness. But you wouldn't think of Elon Musk as being a weak leader. So I wanted to see this clip where he's been confronted with the fact that some of his heroes don't agree with him. And what I want you to do is not just listen to what he says. I want you to notice how you actually feel throughout this clip.
You know, there are American heroes who don't like this idea. Neil Armstrong, Gene Cernan have both testified against commercial spaceflight and the way that you're developing it, and I wonder what you think of that.
I was very sad to see that, because those guys are, those guys are heroes of mine, so it's really tough. I wish they would come and visit and see the hardware that we're doing here, and I think that would change their mind.
They inspired you to do this, didn't they?
Yes.
And to see them casting stones in your direction.
It's difficult.
Did you expect them to cheer you on?
So they're hoping they would.
Now, what he could have done was to argue why he was right and they were wrong. He may even have attacked them and show some kind of anger, which would have been a natural response in that situation. However, he's doing something way more powerful. First of all, emotion will always work better than logic in a presentation. You need to use logic as well, but logic by itself is pointless and boring. Emotion will outweigh logic in its power to persuade and influence people and move them to action. Now, what he's doing here is particularly powerful because normally in this situation, most people would have responded with some level of anger, but anger actually covers hurt. So what he's doing here is showing who he really is and how he really feels. And that's what makes it so powerful. Now, being on the brink of crying may not fit into your subject or talk. And I'm not saying that you should be doing that. What I am saying is that you should be showing real, raw emotion. Think of this. Why do we go to a movie? We go to a movie to be moved emotionally. If there was no emotion in a story, it would be boring and pointless. What makes stories worthwhile is how they make us feel. And the more they make us feel, the easier it is for us to remember the content. And the more we are moved by it. So think of what emotions you want to show your audience and have them feel. Is it a sense of urgency or empowerment? Maybe something that you want them to move away from, like fear and anger? Is it passion, love? Whatever that emotion is, the more you show that emotion, the more that you embody and feel the emotion at that point, the more your audience will feel it, and the more that they'll connect with you and be moved by your message. Hey, we are just getting started. So if you want more tips on how to own the room, be a better speaker, and get more deals, make sure you subscribe. See you in the next video.